Lax Sports Network is proud to present the CAA Game of the Week. Today, we're coming to you from Long Island, a non-conference showdown between a couple of teams receiving votes in the latest media poll. Two 1-0 squads matching up as Michigan visits Hofstra. And with that, we welcome you alongside the former North Carolina Tar Heel, Davey Emila. I'm Travis Eldridge. Davey, this is a matchup between two teams coming off big offensive performances a week ago, but also two teams looking to prove themselves after injuries kind of derailed what they wanted to do a season ago.
Absolutely. Two teams coming in here. What an opportunity to get a big-time early season win for both squads. Going to be a battle to see who can force their will on the other team. I'd be shocked to see this game not come down to the fourth quarter.
So let's take a look at our players to watch. For Michigan, the leading scorer from a season ago, Alex Buckinavage, back, and he is a key guy on this Michigan offense.
Yeah, Buckinavage, really talented with the ball in the stick. Looking for him to initiate from up top, the lefty wing, and look to turn the corner from X. He can do it from any area on the offensive side of the field.
On the Hofstra side of things, you know the name well. Ryan Tierney, the coach's son, has been doing spectacular things since he was a freshman. Back again for his senior year, and he is everything to this Hofstra offense.
He really is. It does seem like he's been there for quite a few years. Ryan Tierney can really do it all on the offensive end. He's at his best when he has little time and space and can unleash that hammer of a shot.
As we get a look at our starting goalies, the guys that Buckinavage and Tierney are going to have to try to score against. On the Michigan side, it's Matt Trowbridge, the senior from St. Louis, Missouri. Played in just one game a year ago, but got the start a week ago against Cleveland State. Goals against average at 9, made 12 saves in that win over the Vikings. On the Hofstra side of things, the same starter from last season, redshirt junior Bobby Casey. He wore that number 27 in honor of Nick Calalori last season. This year, back to the number 22. He had a goals against average right around 10 last season. Easy game for him last week, making 8 saves in that victory over Wagner. At the face-off X, this is going to be an interesting matchup to watch. Brian Herber, the junior from Long Island, going up against Nick Rowlett, the sophomore from Burke, Virginia, but Rowlett missed all of last season with an injury. So a guy who was expected to come in and contribute right away as a freshman, now being the main face-off guy for Michigan as a sophomore. It's Herber who wins the opening draw, and the Pride will get the first offensive possession this morning.
Yeah, nice job by Herber there. We talked to Coach Tierney this week, and he emphasized the importance of not only winning the clamp and the statistic of a face-off, but getting his offense a possession and not having it be an empty possession, making everything count.
Getting a look at the starting midfield unit for the Pride. Sterling Ardrey, Riley Forte, and Ryan Sheridan in there. Sheridan, the freshman from British Columbia.
It was interesting, again, talking to Coach Tierney. We asked him about sort of the style of play he wanted to see from his group, asked him if he wanted to be up-tempo, and he said he wanted to have an up-tempo IQ, guys making the correct decisions, playing smart, and taking advantage of good opportunities.
And Tierney strikes first for Hofstra. Ryan Tierney, the standout senior, just named to the Tewaaraton watch list on Thursday, and he's got Hofstra up 1-0.
Yeah, that's exactly the start that you want if you're Hofstra, getting your main guy involved. First time he's touching the ball, gets to square up, has a short stick on him, just a little stutter step there, and a nice lefty across your body shot. Perfect start there for the Hofstra Pride on offense.
Davey just seems like a guy you can't give an even sliver of room to if you're trying to defend it.
Absolutely, and you see it there, right? Nothing overly dramatic there and having to break down 2 or 3 guys, just a little quick stutter step. And shooters like that are so accurate and so efficient. All you need is just a little bit of space and you're able to get it off accurately.
Back to the face-off X, 2 for 2 for Brian Herber. Another offensive set for the Pride.
And again, I think this is the ideal scenario for Hofstra, getting to win a couple face-off, have some offensive possessions consecutively in a row, allows everyone to get a touch, settle in the game, especially early on in the season. You're in a cold environment. This is the start you want here if you're Hofstra.
Herber has been a big plus for Hofstra, because remember, Kyle Gallagher was the face-off guy a couple of years ago. We've seen what he's now done at Penn last season, going toe-to-toe with T.D. Erlin. Herber came in and really didn't miss a beat for Hofstra. Down the alley, that shot is stopped by Trowbridge.
Herber's been very effective and was spoken very highly of for Greg Grenlian in the clip that he sent us talking about this face-off matchup, and rightfully so. He's done a lot to get his name out there.
Michigan trying to clear, and they do.
It's a nice job by Michigan there. I know it's a very subtle thing, but getting that first clear out of the way is something that can drive coaches a little bit crazy. So I know Coach Connery was excited to see that ball cross the midfield line. Now they get a first crack at a possession here. See what Coach Offensive Coordinator Justin Turry is dialing up.
Starting midfield unit, Jacob Jackson, Jake Bonomi, and Alex Buckinavich, the guy we mentioned in the open. At attack, Bryce Clay, Kevin Mack, and the freshman Josh Zawada. This is Jackson, another one of the freshmen for Michigan. That's a theme we'll talk about throughout. A young, talented team, this Wolverine squad. At X, here's Mack.
And talking to Coach Justin Turry again this week, guys like Mack and Buckinavich are guys that he can really rely on, guys that have done this before. As Buckinavich makes a really nice
across.
Look.
It's Buckinavich finding the freshman Josh Zawada. Michigan evens things up.
There we go, right on cue, right? Buckinavich creating things on the offensive end. And again, we talk about he's really the guy that they want initiating because he draws so much attention, as you see here, and dodges with his eyes up. I think that's a really key factor and thing that he does very well. He's always looking for that skip pass, for that next pass, and it really pays off for Buckinavich there.
What a debut Zawada had last week. 2 goals and 3 assists in his first collegiate game against Cleveland State. An interesting path for him to get to Michigan. He's from Raleigh, North Carolina, but then went up north of the border for high school to play for Brody Merrill and the Hill Academy.
And it certainly has helped him out. He really has a knack for being in the right spot, and the ball just seems to find him. That's a really important trait for any goal scorer, really, and you see that very early in Zawada's career.
Zawada, the reigning Big Ten Freshman of the Week, but Herbert, another face-off win. 3 for 3 for the Pride at the X to start.
Again, that's just really important too in terms of momentum, right? Michigan, they get the first one, get on the board. They want to have another offensive possession, but Herbert does a great job deterring that and gets the ball back for Hofstra.
Haven't even mentioned the full starting attack unit yet for the Pride. Tierney joined by Dylan McIntosh and another freshman that you're going to see here today, Sam Lutfi. Lutfi hailing from Massapequa, New York. This is Joe Alardi, part of a second midfield unit. Ooh. Tierney on the run again. 2 for 2 for Ryan Tierney to start the day.
Jeez, you said it, Trav. You really cannot give him any time or space or room, and that's a really high-level, highly skilled shot there. And I think Tierney is displaying his accuracy as a shooter, but just ability to be going one direction and completely torque your body and turn that ball and find a corner is really something I imagine we're going to see him shooting professionally this summer.
And it's so interesting because you think about standout attackmen, and you don't typically see these guys be the guys that are on the run in front of the cage. You think of the typical ex-attackman who's orchestrating things from behind, but that is not Ryan Tierney. He wants everything in front and just finding the sliver of spaces to get the shots he wants.
You're right, and that's something I've really always respected about his game. He's just deadly from that lefty wing and almost plays in sort of a high arc and can score from anywhere, as he just displayed.
Rowlett had a beat on that ground ball, but it's still loose here as Michigan finally gets a face-off win.
That's going to be important there for Michigan to try to make that a 50-50 ground ball, especially if Herbert is able to continue to keep winning the clamp. Michigan's got to play with its wings and get them in there early to try to get the ball on offense here.
Dylan Gardner, the freshman long stick midfielder, able to pick up that ground ball on the face-off and get the Wolverines in possession here. He's a real standout coming from Newton, Massachusetts. On the dodge, it's Schneider. Now Christian Ford.
See both teams offensively here playing with a little second midfield group. They want to get everybody involved.
That shot just a little wide from Bryce Clay.
Yeah, great opportunity right there. That's what you want.
But no backup.
Yep. Those kinds of possessions are tough, frustrating for if you're Michigan, get a high quality opportunity and then aren't able to run the ball out and eventually results in a turnover.
You got the 10-man ride, shot is wide. The cage was open.
It's a nice heads up play there. That's something you go over, especially on Fridays, the week of practice. Hey, if they 10-man us, don't be afraid to take a shot. We have our attackman backing up the cage. We'll take possession on our end.
His Pride team dealt with so many different injuries last year, as did Michigan a season ago. And even with all those injuries, they played 7 one-goal games. They lost 5 of them. You have 3 or 4 goals go a different way. That 5-9 record looks very different, and it's a team that is probably in the CAA tournament and competing for the top of the conference. It's amazing how slim those margins can be.
It really is. You look at all those one-goal games, that record could so easily have been flopped, and it could have had a completely different season. Talking to Coach Tierney again, he was saying anything that could have happened, happened. He had a guy just, 2 minutes into warm-ups, pull a hamstring. Things like that were just going wrong for Pride last year.
As Tierney couldn't find the intended recipient in front, it's a turnover, gives it back to Michigan.
I do like the way Hofstra is playing offense, though. I think they're being patient, trying to generate quality looks, quality opportunities. Obviously didn't go there, but just consistency of your offensive possessions, wearing the other defense down is key.
And the Wolverines touch things into the attacking third. It's Zawada on that wing. Already with the lone goal for the Wolverines. Zawada, the 7th-ranked freshman in the country by Inside Lacrosse. Freshman attackman. Top 40 recruit in the country.
So they're going to bury the pole here with Buckinavage in the center. Try to clear space for guys to either go under or get over top.
Here's Buckinavage. Dodging! Bounce shot goes! Buckinavage a couple of early points to tie things up.
Yeah, I really like that entire offensive possession there by the Wolverines, sort of stretching the defense, dodging on that lefty wing, and then throwing back eventually to Buckinavage, and then he's catching the ball in the middle of the field, the most dangerous part of the field, is able to absorb some contact, get downfield, and get a nice bounce shot off there. Really strong with his left hand, Buckinavage. It's hard to deter that.
As we mentioned in the open, led the team with 48 points last year. You may recognize the name if you're a fan of college lacrosse. His brother Andrew played at Vermont.
Yeah, Buckinavage is he's really impressing me. Not only is he sort of their initiator and able to go from anywhere, but he can really shoot the ball.
Face-off win for Herber, but low pass. Couldn't be handled by Tierney. And that is what drives Coach Seth Tierney crazy. When we were talking to him earlier this week, he said, all right, face-off wins are great, but they don't count in my book unless we are playing offense at the end of the possession.
Absolutely. And as much as that would drive him crazy, them riding hard and getting that ball back is going to make him that much more excited.
This is Dylan McIntosh. Gets the ground ball, stopped by Trowbridge. It's like the parting of the Red Sea right down the middle, but Trowbridge, the last line of defense.
Yeah, big time save there from Trowbridge, keeping the momentum going sort of in this back and forth phase of this first quarter.
And that is a failure to advance on Michigan. Couldn't get across midfield before the 60-second mark on the possession clock. And so Hofstra, another good job in the ride, causing some issues.
2 failed clears in a row here from Michigan. And again, we were talking about all the one-goal games for Hofstra, and these are the little things that make those differences in the end. The failed clears or the self-inflicted wounds, if you will, that eventually come back to bite you. Both teams are going to look to clean those things up.
Ryan Tierney from way downtown. He shot that one from New York City.
That's right. That's what you call a heat check, but it went in. Wow, Tierney, again, just showing you his really, really impressive shooting ability, especially, again, when he's on a short stick is on him. There's got to be a red alert from the defense. He just continues to back his defender in and then realizes, hey, I'm in my range. I know my range, and I'm going to pull up from here. Low to low from Tierney, really impressive.
A first quarter hat trick from Ryan Tierney. We're barely halfway through, and he's already got 3 goals, the senior from Massapequa. He's also shooting 100%, 3 for 3.
Those are the percentages that we like, that's for sure.
It's the best battle we've seen at the X between Rowlett and Herber so far. And Rowlett able to win it. Picks up the ground ball. Key ground ball here for the Wolverines, who've struggled there at the X so far. Nick Rowlett, the sophomore, actually won the Faceoff Academy National Showcase back in 2017 as one of the best faceoff guys in the country in his high school career.
You know, it's interesting. Our sort of big dogs that we talked about have really showed up so far in this first quarter. We have Tierney, obviously, for Hofstra, and Buckinavage playing well for Michigan. We'll see if they can respond. Wow.
There is the answer. It's the freshman, Josh Zawada, with his second of the day.
Really like seeing that from Zawada. You know, he's been, we've talked about, always in the right place at the right time, a lot of off-ball goals, but there he's showing you his ability to not only carry, but really shoot the ball from range. That's dropping your hands, bringing it back high, using the two-man game. Again, we talk about just a little space for Tierney, just gets himself a little space, hands-free. Really impressive shot there from Zawada.
And if you notice there, you see the face-off man, Herber, is stuck on. Zawada heads up, realized with that pick he had a little bit of space. The same thing you saw with Tierney at the other end. Realized he had a short stick matchup and was going to take advantage.
Yeah, you're right. That's great coaching too, because you have your players now identifying the early offensive situations. You got a face-off man stuck, you go right at him, and Zawada again continuing his really impressive start to his freshman campaign.
A violation on Herber gives it right back to Michigan. Wolverines today playing without one of their starting midfielders for the second time this season as Hofstra comes up with a turnover. Avery Myers not playing today. He's out with a lower body injury. He missed the opener against Cleveland State as well. As Hofstra gets a chance to answer the goal by Michigan as we go back and forth in this first quarter on Long Island.
And we can sort of see offensively both teams very content with getting their guys on, getting the ball around, really settling in on the offensive end, and then getting into what formation you're trying to run. Both teams also using a lot of sort of picks, two-man games, trying to create some separation that way.
McIntosh swings it around to Sheridan. Forte, now Tierney. Still 20 seconds to go on this shot clock for Hofstra. Sterling Ardrey sends behind. Looking in front, and we've got a crease violation as I believe Forte and McIntosh both ended up in the crease, so a good defensive possession there for Michigan.
It was, yeah, a little mental breakdown there from Hofstra again. Sort of hurting yourself by going in the crease, but I did like what they were generating offensively. Hard dodge down the alley, move it through X, and then see what you got.
Jake Bonomi brings it across. Another freshman getting some time right away with the Wolverines.
Coach Kevin Connery using words like missile and energizer bunny to describe Bonomi, which I would take that as a description from a coach. I think that's pretty positive.
Bonomi, the number 9 ranked midfielder in this class of 2019, freshman class of 2020.
You know, when we talk about sort of some of the youth of Michigan and a lot of these freshman guys, these are some of the games that you look back on early in their careers that, you know, that can really help your development. It's early in the season, you're traveling all the way to Long Island, and you got to deal with some adversity.
Buckinavich's pass high. He may have had his stick deflected there. Another turnover for Michigan. About 4 minutes to go in this opening quarter. Travis Eldridge, Davey Emla with you here on LSN. When we get our first flag of the day, we will.
Yeah, it's that fine line of you want your attackmen to be riding hard and making plays, trying to get you the ball back at the same time. You don't want to put your team in a tough situation by drawing a foul there on the trip.
Gonna go against Bryce Clay, the attackman. And riding hard, going for the stick.
It's one of those that's tough to do. Yeah, he's riding hard there, trying to stay in front. As an attackman, though, you're taught to really just try to break down and not put yourself in that position when you're trailing a defender, because usually that's when those penalties happen. Even if it's a light brush of the foot, the defender can sell it if they want. That's happened many times in my career. So we'll get his first chance of a man up here for Hofstra.
And Hofstra was really good on the man up last week. 3 for 3 against Wagner when they hung 21 goals.
I have to imagine I'm going to look to get 13 a shot here in white.
I think that would be a good estimation. Pass out top. McIntosh high.
Nice skip there through from Tierney.
Showcasing some of that vision as well. Forte. Skip pass down low, and it was a great look for the freshman Justin Sykes. Just couldn't handle it. Sykes actually had a pair of man-up goals last week.
Very similar to the way that one was shaping out too. You know, each week is different though, as you mentioned. A little cold. You know, your hands, fingers a little cold, gripping the stick a little tight. Freshman, early, big game. Those are the sort of things that can happen.
And we're back to even strength as Michigan gets an offensive possession. That second midfield unit coming on. Christian Ford dodging down the alley. Ford, the grandson of former President Gerald Ford. Of course, also a great football player at Michigan. Christian having a chance to wear his grandfather's number, number 48. One of the reasons he wanted to go to Michigan.
Very cool.
Now Steven Schneider playing pitch and catch there with Ford. Good battle here from Kevin Mack. Skip pass a little high, 5 seconds on the shot clock, and it's Hofstra ball.
Great defense there from Hofstra. Really frustrating Michigan, not allowing them to get to any of the spots that they wanted to. Now we got a little transition.
Long pull chance, just wide. Good look there from Michael Altman, who had 2 goals last week.
Wow.
Already 3 points on the season for the long pull.
Yeah, I think if you're Coach Tierney, that's you're talking about high IQ there, understanding time and place, and that's a great chance to let one fly there, making sure you have the backup, which Hofstra did, just barely.
This is Ardrey, sophomore from Charlotte, North Carolina.
Again, Hofstra trying to find their matchups here that they like. A lot of times going at the short stick right into a 2-man game.
Tierney, what a feed! McIntosh is stopped by Trowbridge.
That's a huge save from Strobridge there. Really, Hofstra had nothing going on offensively. Tierney just would have made something out of nothing, and Strobridge met him on the doorstep.
A great look from Ryan Tierney. But nothing to come of it. The Wolverines look to clear.
It's one to keep in the back of your mind, momentum-wise, right? Ended the quarter. That could have been a very big play for Hofstra.
1 minute remaining in the first quarter. 1 minute to play.
Under a minute to go in this first quarter. So far, all even. 3 apiece between Michigan and Hofstra. A couple of teams getting votes in the media poll after putting up big offensive numbers last week. Same has gone so far in this first 15 minutes. On the run, Buckinavich is stopped by Casey.
Number 42, Alex Buckinavich.
Now, interesting decision there from Michigan, right? Because obviously, you know, sort of as the quarter's winding down, think about taking a little bit more time off the clock to not give Hofstra an opportunity in the offensive end to finish this quarter with a goal.
No call there as Corey Casey got it across the midfield stripe. And a
now,
final
Hofstra's
offensive
going to have a little
here.
advantage here, I think, coming on.
10 seconds to go. Sykes has got to move. On the run, shoots wide.
Number 14, Justin Sykes.
Defense has got to check sticks in these situations. Hofstra's going to try to find a cutter in front.
One more opportunity, shot off, but Trowbridge able to keep it out.
13, Ryan Tierney. The save by
Hofstra with just a 1 face-off advantage, winning 4 of the 7 in that first quarter.
Yeah, there was a little segment there when it was going right from a Hofstra face-off win to a Ryan Tierney goal. It'll be interesting to see what kind of adjustments Michigan's going to make here, and I have to imagine they really don't want him to get any room or get his hands free at all.
And that one pops right into the stick of Bryce Clay. So Michigan begins the second quarter with an offensive possession. Here's Josh Zawada, had 2 goals in the first 15 minutes.
Yeah, and we got to give credit to Michigan's offense as well. I think they're generating a lot of high-quality opportunities, sort of rotating back and forth between the midfielders, initiating from up top, like you see here, to the attackmen going below GLE. But I like this formation, gives guys a lot of space.
Pass deflected, but scooped up by the Wolverines.
Look to move this ball again and go.
They expected this could end up in a shootout after what they did, both teams, a lot last week. Shot, score! A high rip from Bryce Clay. Wolverines with their first lead of the day.
And I think you just said it, Trav. The ability, the shooting ability that we're seeing out here is really elite. Bryce Clay, not a lot of room there. It's able to get his hands free and put an absolute rocket past the Hofstra goalkeeper. But again, that's some pretty accurate shooting we're seeing from both sides. And I think that's both coaches and both teams need to be complimented for that.
You look, Hofstra put up 21 goals against Wagner. Michigan scored 16 last week against Cleveland State. These offenses have shown the ability to put up big numbers.
Absolutely. And that's, again, why we talk about the things that it's going to come down to, the not making mistakes and not hurting yourself throughout the entire game.
Face-off violation against Herber. Something to watch.
Yep. Tide changing a little bit here as we start the second quarter, certainly at the face-off X.
Back-to-back face-off wins to start the quarter for Michigan.
And, you know, similar to the way we were talking about Hofstra's offense, I don't think, you know, Michigan's been very much stopped by Hofstra's defense too much. I think they're getting the shots that they want to. And again, we talk about that rotation between initiating from the midfield and from X. I, again, sort of was hitting on this last time. This gives guys a lot of space, gives your athletes a lot of chances to run and make plays, make the defense move, and then eventually find the open man on the backside.
Zawada feeds, stopped. As Clay had a bounce shot that he put toward Cage. Scoops up the loose ball. If at first you don't succeed, just try again. Back-to-back goals for Bryce Clay.
Yeah, that's just big-time effort there from Bryce Clay, getting that rebound and absolutely forcing that ball home. Nice look there initially by Zawada in front of the crease there. It was eventually forced that ball bouncing around, and then Clay just wanted it more than everybody else.
These are the type of hustle plays that really will put a smile on Coach Kevin Conry's face.
No doubt about it. You know, it really goes back to, I think, the face-off X and how things are going right now, right? Getting a little bit of consistency, getting back-to-back possessions, and now you start to feel the momentum for Michigan flowing.
Clay, the sophomore from Grand Rapids, Michigan, grew up a lifelong Michigan fan. One of his favorite athletes growing up, Charles Woodson. So for him, this was the option. Like, this was the dream growing up, and he's getting to live it.
He's doing a great job, too.
A face-off win for the Wolverines as Matt Delacrosse seeing his first action, and he gets a victory. 3 straight for Michigan at the X.
Nice little subtlety there, being able to win the ball back, get your defense and goalie involved in the clearing game. Again, things, specialty situations that you go over and over and over again in practice.
And Mack, I think, had an issue with the ball. So, referees give him a second to grab a new one, and we're back in play.
Gotta have the freshest ball out there, Trav. We know that. That's right.
No greasers allowed. Here's Zawada, dodging from this near wing. Bonomi. Buckinavage, skip pass across. That was a tough one to handle. But it's pulled in, and it's Jackson. Buckinavage, hands free. Good look, but just wide.
See, Michigan getting a little stagnant now here on the offensive end. I think they're at their best when they're really spaced out and they're attacking from the corners of the box or the corner of the offensive area.
Zawada beats his man but can't put it home, and it's able to be pushed back into Casey's stick.
It's a nice job there overall by Hofstra defense. Got to make sure they clear this ball here now.
And good handle there from Eric Wentz. Big offensive possession for the Pride as Michigan has come out firing to start the second quarter.
Yeah, you see Hofstra testing out the waters a little bit, looking at the early offensive options. Nothing there, so they're going to get their guys on, try to get a possession here. You said it, Trav, really important to get a good possession here, not come away with an empty possession, right? Don't want to be down 3 at this point in the game. Want to get the momentum back going on your side.
Different personnel rotating through for Hofstra.
Nice job by the Michigan defense, not sliding, making sure those slides are earned.
This is Whit Stopak seeing his first action. Backup attackman on this Pride squad. Now gets it to Tierney. Takes a check, feeds, bounce shot. It was a tough one to get off for McIntosh.
See, that's really an area I think where Tierney's, at his best and really dangerous. When he's coming off that pick set by a short stick defender and his hands are free, he's either feeding or turning and letting that ball go on cage.
5 seconds to go on the shot clock. Stopak, nothing doing. That'll be a shot clock violation on Hofstra.
Defense is holding serve a little bit now, coming to play. Like to see that.
We mentioned the youth, and the defense the same for Michigan. Ryan Schreiber, freshman. Andrew Darby, sophomore. Drake Schaffner, sophomore. I joked with Kevin Connery this week and said, what kind of thoughts go through your mind when you run out a freshman and a couple of sophomores as your starting close defense? And he goes, my beard has gotten a little grayer.
He said, can't you tell? Isn't it obvious?
But in all honesty, they're talented and they're good athletes, and it has been a bright spot for Michigan. He feels like it can be,
yes,
with their upside that they can show.
Absolutely. And you look at Schreiber, who just picked up the ball. He's 220. He's at 220 pounds as a freshman. That's a lot of body to move. But you're right. I think, and you talk about these are the experiences that they're getting now, young. And what's really cool is now they can develop and grow as a group. By the time these guys are juniors and seniors, the program's going to be set.
What a shot from Kevin Mack. Just enough space. 3 in a row for Michigan.
Kevin Mack said, listen, there's more than just freshmen and sophomores in this game. Let's hear for some of the older guys. Kevin Mack's a guy that really can do everything well. You see him as an initiator, a ball carrier, talking to Coach Justin Turry. That's exactly what he said. Someone that can do something really well, anything that he's asked of. And here, there's nothing really complicated about this play. Just gets topside on his defenseman, who is bigger than him, by the way, and is able to turn the corner. Really nice play there from Mack.
Actually making 4 straight goals for the Wolverines dating back to the first quarter. They trailed 3-2, and they have really gotten things coming on.
You see that graphic there for Kevin Mack, 28 straight games with a point. I think that's something that shouldn't be ignored, and it's tough to do.
Face-off win for the Wolverines. All of a sudden, that has been a big bright spot.
Yeah.
Nick Rowlett back at the X and wins one.
Yeah, he really did flip the script here in the second quarter. But you see the benefit that it gives to your team as a whole, right? Offensively, you start getting in a groove. Everyone's getting touches. Defensively, you're a little bit more rested. So when the ball does come down to your end, you're firing around on your slide. Your communication is nice and loud. So it really just helps the entire group overall.
First midfield line of Jackson, Bonomi, and Buckinavich in there.
Again, really spacing the field, starting with those long dodges, got the defense moving a little bit here.
Jackson sweeping, feeds on the doorstep, and it's a crease violation. Kevin Pimental, the freshman, just inside the crease there, and it's a turnover. Tough clearing pass, scooped up by Dominic Pryor.
That's what gets on coaches. That's what drives coaches crazy right there, is making it more of a game out of the clearing. You just want to be perfect in that scenario, not do any damage to yourselves, give your offense a chance to get on the field and execute.
With Stopak staying in at attack for Hofstra.
Imagine we'll see a little pick for Tierney if he is going to be initiated in the offense.
Started 3 for 3. He's been a little quiet in the last part of the second quarter and now into the last part of the first quarter, now into the second quarter. Shot to score on the run. It's Dylan McIntosh. Hofstra gets one back.
Yeah, nice little goal there from Dylan McIntosh. And as we see, it's sort of the same thing that they've been doing on the left wing there with Tierney. It's just getting a little two-man game action. The ball carrier is able to get topside, get to the middle of the field. High percentage shots come from there, and McIntosh handles the rest.
Dylan McIntosh, a guy who showed incredible upside as a freshman coming out of British Columbia. Missed 6 games last year with a broken jaw, which really hurt this offense. He and Ryan Tierney had developed a great chemistry, and not having McIntosh in there last year really made some more issues more difficult for Hofstra. With him back, it's been a nice boost, and you saw it in game 1 as McIntosh had 3 goals and 2 assists.
Yeah, that's certainly something that Coach Tierney keyed on, was the absence of McIntosh last year really hurt them, and you see why.
And that's a push from Hofstra, I believe. Maybe not. Let's see. Loose ball is scooped up by Ryan Tierney. Just before that, there was it looked to be a loose ball push, and you see the far side official there trigger it in, and sure enough, it's Michigan ball. Can't just throw the guy down when you push him
No,
back.
can't do that. Early in the season for everybody.
Rocco Sutherland brings it in. Steven Schneider. Christian Ford in there in the midfield for Michigan. Feed down low,
Gotta back it
Zawada
up.
just wide. Who do they give it to? It's Hofstra.
That's certainly frustrating for an offense, especially offensive coach, right? You want to be in position there to maintain possession, because it really was a good look. You know, Michigan's doing a great job of getting these looks almost right on the doorstep. It's sort of like their middies are nice and spread out, allowing the attackman to be inside on those tight feeds and finishes.
10-man ride, and Trowbridge gets back just in time. That was a good look for Riley Forte.
Gotta clear the ball.
And we have another whistle. And unnecessary roughness against Hofstra, so 1-minute penalty upcoming for the Pride. Riley Forte a little frustrated. He couldn't get that shot off a little bit sooner to beat the 10-man ride. So a man up coming here for Michigan. And there it is. Cross check up high.
So we'll see Michigan here get a chance to settle in on some extra man offense.
Michigan 2 for 3 in week 1 against Cleveland State on the man up.
I think it's very telling for Michigan that you see 49 Zawada in the top middle here. Usually, you know, best player, high IQ, passer, finisher is up there, and that's a high compliment.
Guy who's just a freshman getting that opportunity, especially this early in the season. Zawada, pass to Mack, it's intercepted by Casey.
Yeah, tough to make that feed there when you're on the back of your heels. Momentum's not really going for you. The goalie's sort of reading it the whole way.
Keep an eye on Hofstra. They actually scored a man-down goal last week against Wagner as well.
Again, comes back to the clearing. They keep talking about it all game long.
Clear. And so still a little bit of time left for Michigan on the man up. 10 seconds to go.
But again, what that does is, you know, Hofstra maintains possession there and is able to kill that man up, as opposed to throwing the ball away. And now you're going to give Michigan a whole brand new opportunity to play man up offense. Again, those are the little things that come back and really frustrate coaches and end up being the difference in 1-goal games as Hofstra gets their guy back in.
Yeah, back to even strength. Bryce Clay working from X. He's got a short stick matchup. Looking to take advantage. Bonomi. Now Buckinavage scored the first goal for the Wolverines. Got a couple of points so far, Buckinavage, a goal and an assist, both coming in the first quarter.
We got Zawada on the short stick here.
Oof. Oh, Zawada wants that one back.
That's right. Oh, my goodness.
You can see he threw that head back.
If you're Hofstra there, that's got to be red alert communication defensively. We got Zawada here on a short stick. Got to have a slide ready. Similar here, going to go into a two-man game behind. Got him a shorty. You hear Coach Turry saying, get it to him.
Zawada again. Quicker slide here for Hofstra. Feed across. Oh, what a look. Yeah, good backup by Michigan. Oh, never mind.
Gave to Hofstra.
Better hustle by Dominic Pryor.
And I want to say that's now 3 shots that Michigan has lost possession on. Fortunately, that equals a turnover for that offensive group, essentially.
And it's Eric Wentz bringing it across midfield. Looking to get into some offensive personnel, and he does. See James Philbin, part of the second midfield unit in for Hofstra. This is Dylan McIntosh, now Justin Sykes. What performance number 14 in white had last week. Justin Sykes, 6 points in his collegiate debut, the freshman from Oakville, Ontario. He was the first freshman with 6 points in a game since Dylan McIntosh did it a couple of years ago.
I tell you, they'd love to see him get going right now. This is a big possession here for Hofstra. Possibly get this to a 1-goal game. Get your offense clicking again.
With Stopak, draws the flag and gets the goal. Pretty spin move from the sophomore from Ohio.
Yeah, nice job there, really by the entire offensive unit, just being patient and waiting for the right opportunity to strike. Great job there of identifying some green space, right? You get that ball on the backside, your defender has to come out and meet you, use his momentum against you, that nice little turn inside and finish.
And you notice, able to stay outside of that new restricted arc inside of the crease. So the dive counts. Also had a little push as well.
Right, so finishing and diving away from the goalie, right outside of that marked space. Really nice job. Nice job to get that by the goalkeeper too, because he was unable to change levels of his stick, had to get it by high to high. A little bit more difficult than it looks.
With Stopak thought he might
thought
have
he was coming out.
Up, but just a little chilly, you know, he wants to warm up a little bit.
Moving around a lot. Just get some extra sprints in. Nothing wrong with it.
That's a violation, this time on Michigan. Possession here for Hofstra. So back-to-back goals for the Pride. And now an offensive possession with under 4 minutes to go. By the way, a reminder for you, coming up next here on Lax Sports Network, we got Game 2 of our CAA Game of the Week doubleheader. We head up the road here to Fairfield, Connecticut. The Stags taking on Stony Brook out of the America East. It's Tom Eschen, Steve Panarelli on the call for that. 1 p.m. Eastern here on Lax Sports Network, your home for CAA Lacrosse. Nice CAA Game of the Week doubleheader to kick off our NCAA Lacrosse coverage on LSN this year.
It's great to have college lacrosse back, that's for sure.
Feels good. This is Tierney. Tough angle off the post. That resets the shot clock.
Really not a lot of angle to look at there from Tierney. Still gives it a really nice shot there. And again, that was his right hand, so not just a lefty here. He's showing you how dangerous he can be with both hands.
He made a couple of shots last year that just were jaw-dropping.
Yeah. You know, and it's one of those things, really those elite shooters have something about their release and their wrist action. You know, you see it in a guy like Ryan Brown a lot, and just that full motion that they have. Tierney's got a lot of those same qualities.
And it's quick, too. There's not a lot of wind-up time. Tierney on the run, this time stopped by Trowbridge.
You're right, though. That's a lightning quick release.
6 saves so far today for Trowbridge. Made 12 last week. And Michigan able to get it over just in time. Got a timeout for the Wolverines. We'll step aside here on Long Island, send you back to the LSN Broadcast Center.
Thanks, guys. I'm Mariah Janos in the LSN Broadcast Center. All season long, we'll be bringing you the LSN Player Spotlight. taking a look at some of the best players in college lacrosse. This week, it's Penn State attackman Grant Ament, who has started the 2020 season just like he finished 2019. He scored 4 goals, had 6 assists for 10 points in a season-opening win against Lafayette, then followed that up with 3 goals and 5 assists last weekend against Villanova. Taking a closer look at Ament's resume, last season he set an NCAA record with 96 assists. That broke the record by a whopping 19 over the previous record holder, and he led the nation with 126 points. Ament is also Penn State's all-time point leader. Now, let's get you back out to the game.
Thank you very much, Mariah. Travis and Davey back with you. This Michigan team going to see Grant Ament once this year, maybe multiple times if they get into that Big Ten tournament. Not going to be a fun matchup for Coach Kevin Connery and company.
Not many people do have too much fun playing against Ament, that is for sure. He's quite a dynamic talent there for Penn State.
Yeah, Penn State and Ament playing later on today. Ament already with 18 points in 2 games. Just silly stuff.
We'll see if he keeps that pace up, right?
Just unbelievable. And Ament, of course, named to the Tewaaraton watch list earlier this week, as was Hofstra's Ryan Tierney. And we're seeing why so far today. He scored 3 goals and an assist last week with 4 points. He's got a hat trick so far in this first half for Hofstra.
Yeah, he's been great, just getting his hands free. A little bit of room has been the difference, and it'll be interesting to see on the flip side here what Michigan comes out of this timeout with, what Coach Turry wanted to draw up. I have to imagine, you're looking at either Buckinavage initiating from up top on the long stick midfielder, or getting it to Zawada, either on that wing or behind, getting him into a 2-man game. I know they really like the ball in his stick.
Michigan coming out of the timeout with just about 2 minutes to go in the first half. Wolverines had scored 4 in a row to take a 6-3 lead, but Hofstra responded with back-to-back goals as this shot is just high. Good look for Jacob Jackson, the freshman from Dallas, Texas. Out of the corner, Zawada's pass deflected. Good active sticks. But Hofstra can't pick up the loose ball. Good opportunity,
wow.
It's stopped by Casey.
Oh, wow. That is big time.
Bobby Casey standing tall, a huge momentum shifter.
Hofstra's going to see what they have here in the early offense. Nothing there. Going to be smart, try to get their guys on. What a difference that save is going to make. Oh, my gosh.
Now, Hofstra can't hold for 1 here on this current shot clock, but can essentially hold for the last full possession.
Right.
About a 20-second difference between the shot clock and game clock here at the end of the first half. And that'll trigger a timeout for Coach Seth Tierney.
So now we'll see what Hofstra can come back and draw up and try to get a goal here in the second quarter to tie this game up going into halftime. Again, we have to imagine that Ryan Tierney will be heavily involved in this offensive production.
You take a look at the Inside Lacrosse media poll entering this week. You look at the top 10. Both these teams going to see a couple of these different teams, especially Michigan, who's got to play the likes of Penn State, Maryland in conference. They also have Notre Dame in the non-conference. Ohio State, a team that slid in there into the top 10, another Big Ten squad. So things will be difficult for Michigan. And both Hofstra and Michigan receiving votes in the latest media poll, a lot having to do with both dealt with injuries last year and both looked really good in their first wins.
And as they should receive votes, because I agree with you. I think both teams, not only did they look good, but they're going to be around in their respective conferences all season long. I think when you look at Michigan, Coach Kevin Connery in his 3rd season has really talked about being able to set his culture and make that program the way he wants to. He's gotten a lot of guys that he has really recruited, athletes that he's been, wanting to be on campus. And, Hofstra the same way. We already hit on it. Coach Tierney saying just sort of everything you could think of possible last year, that could have gone wrong. That happened. So, he's not necessarily looking back on last year. They can take a lot from those 1-game losses and move forward and adjust to this season.
We've mentioned what Michigan did to open up the season, beating Cleveland State 16-9. And if you haven't been keeping track of Cleveland State, it's a team that has gotten significantly better since their first season a couple of years ago. But Michigan getting 5 points from Josh Zawada as a freshman, Bryce Clay with 3 goals, Buchanavich 4 points, and the big key was Nick Rowlett at the faceoff X. When they didn't have a faceoff guy last year because both of their main guys were hurt, they were sitting there at just about 30% on the season. A week ago, you had Rowlett win 60% himself, and that has been a just gigantic difference. Even going from 30 to 50 makes a huge difference in terms of number of possessions. And
I think we're actually really seeing that in today's game. Really what's going on at the faceoff X is sort of the team that has grabbed momentum so far in this contest.
So a minute to go for Hofstra here, down by 1 in the first half. That first midfield unit of Forte, Sheridan, and Argery handling at the top of the box.
The little mumbo pick here for Tierney coming off.
Ryan Tierney gets the left hand free. Make it a 4-pack of goals in the first half for the senior.
Yeah, really nice job there by Hofstra overall. That is what you want as an offensive coordinator, as a coach, the ability to call a timeout, draw something up, and have your players go out and execute. That's exactly what Hofstra's offense was able to do. A couple window dressing moves with the midfield, and then a mumbo screen for Tierney, able to come off the crease, catch that ball, and really didn't have a time and room shot, which is what they were aiming for. Had to square up, go at his defenseman, and shows you a really impressive way to get to the cage.
Ryan Tierney seems to just about always be able to get that left hand free when he wants it to be.
It really can. And then, on last shot, even though it didn't go in, he showed you can put it in his right hand and shoot a no-angle shot. So really showing you all the different tools that Tierney has to work with. It's fun to watch.
So we're all knotted up at 6 apiece with 40 seconds to go. Face-off win looked like for Michigan. Loose ball. Still loose.
Yeah,
Dylan Gardner had a beat on it. And finally, it's Bonomi who scoops up the ground ball. 20 seconds to go, and there's the timeout for Michigan. Want to preserve possession, see if he can get one more look at this.
Yeah, Coach Connery was not going to leave that up to chance or see if they could get something in 20 or 17 seconds that we have left here. They're going to draw something up. And, just as we just mentioned for Hofstra, here's an opportunity to try to draw something up in a huddle and have your players go out and execute. It didn't exactly work out in the 2 previous possessions before. So here's a big chance for that young offense to gain some valuable knowledge and really mature as a group.
Stay tuned with us here on Lax Sports Network. At the half, we will send you back into the LSN Broadcast Center, kind of get you ready for the rest of the day in college lacrosse, as a bunch of games are getting ready to face off at noon Eastern time. This is an early 11 a.m. Eastern start on Long Island. Mariah Janos and company standing by back in the Broadcast Center to get you caught up on what else is going on around the country this week. And here, Michigan tied things up. About 17 seconds to go. Who are you looking for if you're Coach Turi here in the huddle as an offensive coordinator? What are you drawing up with a small amount of time and what we've seen so far today?
I think actually Hofstra just gave you the blueprint. They're just going to have to do it a little bit quicker. I think to spread your midfielders out and have them initiate from up top down the alley with a mumbo screen coming in to set the pick for someone like Zawada coming off the crease. If he has a time and room shot, great. If not, he can square up and go right at his defender with hopefully, 8 seconds or less left to finish out the half here.
Dean, this attack unit really create a lot for Michigan so far. Clay with a couple of
Clay's
goals.
A great option as well, too. I was just going to say.
Max got one. Zawada with a pair. The attack leading things for the Wolverines in this first half.
All right, so nice wide on the initiation.
Down the alley, stripped away. Loose ball coming out toward the sideline. Hofstra with it. And a chance to send it with 5. Goes off the end line, and that will do it for our first half.
I think so, and I think that's natural, coming out here, and especially in the environment that you're in. But having consistent possession stemming from the face-off circle has been a key so far for both teams.
And there's Brian Herber winning the opening draw for Hofstra. Gets the pride, the first offensive possession of the third.
Wins the clamp, but gets the possession, right? That's what Coach Tierney wants.
Ryan Tierney on that far wing. Now Sterling Archery.
Now, you know, if I'm Michigan's defense, you know, I don't always want to do things that you think will disrupt what you usually practice, but I'm not giving Tierney any room. I'm keeping my defender, my stick on him, and saying, all right, the other 5 guys, you beat me.
Here's Ryan Sheridan, the freshman midfielder from British Columbia. Scored a couple of goals last week. No points yet today. Now Stopak looking for his second goal. He shoots wide.
It's a nice dodge, though, showing that you have the ability to come from X just a couple more steps upfield, increasing that angle a little bit. I think that would have been a goal. But again, it's important for Hofstra to show you other dynamic pieces they have to their offense besides Tierney.
15 seconds left on the shot clock for Hofstra. Stopak spins, gets free, draws a flag. It's stopped by Trowbridge, but a man-up opportunity coming for the Pride on a push.
And that's the same move we saw from Stopak on the other side, right? Trying to get underneath, spins inside his defender. The previous one, he ended up scoring, so the flag was wiped out. But here gives Hofstra an opportunity to go on the man-up again. 32nd man-up coming for the Pride. Really nice play there, and the nuances of that stick fake that really make that defender take one extra step upfield allows Stopak to then spin underneath. Really nice job, nice footwork there. Second man-up opportunity of the day for Hofstra. 0 for 1 after going 3 for 3 last week against Wagner. Tierney operating at the top of the box. Yeah, it'll be interesting to see what they draw up here. Skip pass down low, and McIntosh just couldn't handle it. Gets it free, but a loose ball push against McIntosh gives it to Michigan. Now, see, that's both extra man possessions for Hofstra, that they're really looking for that pass early, which I think is interesting. I don't mind the pass. I think that's sort of a home run ball, but it comes best off of movement when that ball's hitting everybody's stick and making that defense change and look other places. Michigan struggling to clear it, but yet able to get it over midfield. Yeah, Hofstra staying hard on the ride here, trying to stay in the hands. We're back to even strength as Jake Bonomi brings it in. By the way, a happy birthday to Jake Bonomi, the freshman from Northport, New York. A Long Island guy getting to celebrate his 19th birthday at home. It doesn't get any better than that, does it? It does not. The big 1-9, is that correct? 19 getting up there, getting up there. Here is Bonomi. He's got an assist today, looking to add a goal, shoots high. That was a nice move there by Bonomi. He might have had Zawada sort of drifting into space there off of that 2-man game. Michigan does that very well. They don't always hit those guys, but they've been open more times than not. Here's Kevin Mack. He's got 1 goal. And his pass too high for Bryce Clay. Good defense there for Hofstra. That's stuck. I really do like Kevin Mack as a player. I think he does a lot of really good things. Just tough situation there when you have defender all over you like that. Got to keep those feet moving and gain some sort of separation so he's not able to get that final poke in there. It's another thing that'll drive offensive coordinators a little crazy. Forte to Sheridan. Step down goes. Hofstra takes the lead back. Yep, you know, turnover on one side, able to push transition a little bit, get the ball up the field and take advantage. That's a little bit of range there from Sheridan. He was pulling up from deep. Unsettled situation in transition, and Sheridan going with a little bouncer. Yeah, that's a nice job by Hofstra. That's what you delayed fast break or 5-on-4. We used to call that a draw or a pull when I was at North Carolina. That middle ball carrier is responsible for taking that defender and just a little throwback to that wide open player for a shot. Great execution there in the transition game by Hofstra. Here's Sheridan's 3rd goal of the season, freshman from British Columbia. That's a violation on Hofstra, gives it to Michigan. I think it's important here for Michigan to have a good offensive possession. Got to get it to one of their playmakers and really initiate, make that defense move, whether it be from dodging up top down the alley here, getting it from behind into a 2-man game. Make this defense make decisions, and we'll find the open guy. Starts with drawing the double team after beating your man. Steven Schneider drawing a short stick. Moved along. Ford. I think Hofstra was quick to identify Zawada there and slide to him early.
Here is Zawada. Drawing that matchup with Michael Altman, the long stick midfielder. Sutherland. Good defense from the Pride so far. Skip pass out top, bouncer just wide.
Almost lost that backup possession as well. They got to keep an eye there. I think Michigan, they're getting a little stagnant, a little bit slower on the offensive movement. Like I said, I think they're really good either in the two-man game or when they spread out those middies and give them space to run. Drew a nice flag there on the slash.
Zawada draws the flag. Free possession for Schneider. Pass in front, saved by Casey. May hit the post too. Clay had a good look, but that'll get us to the flag.
Yeah, that's a really nice cut by Clay there. I think that's what we need to see more of this Michigan team doing. I think they're really good with their ball carriers, but not getting a lot of cutters and movement off ball that occupy their defenders. You see that little slash there, that's eventually going to draw the penalty. No need for it. Ref's right in front of you. You know, that's an easy call for them. And again, you know, if you're Hofstra, you have the lead now. You don't want to be giving away extra man opportunities, especially when a Michigan team isn't really getting all that they want on offense right now. They're a little bit slow and stagnant, so you're giving them a prime opportunity to gain some momentum and tie the game up.
Dominic Pryor drawing the penalty. So another man up for Michigan. Their second of the day. Also 0 for 1 on the extra man so far. They were 2 for 3 a week ago.
Yeah, neither offense has really taken advantage in the specialty situation yet. See a little roll off the crease here. Try to put this backside in a 2-on-1 situation for a step down shooter. Not there.
Alex Buchanavich, now Zawada.
Got to reset and get in their formation. Keep an active cutter inside.
Good ball movement. No looks so far. Zawada. Buchanavich, step down, saved by Casey.
Number 42, Alex Buchanavich. The save by Bobby Casey.
Yeah, nice save by Casey there. Buchanavich, great look. Just playing catch with him a little bit. Didn't really make Casey have to work too much. Now ball's going the other way.
Good spin move there from Eric Wentz.
That's a one-man clear. I like that.
Long pull with some handle. And Hofstra now back to even strength and an offensive possession. Seeing a lot more of Whit Stopak. Didn't play much in that first quarter. Number 6 in the white uniforms for Hofstra, but it's been a nice little jolt of energy at the attack spot for the Pride. Here, skip passes out top, couldn't be completed. But a loose ball, good hustle play by Hofstra to keep it alive. Still 20 seconds left in the shot clock for Ryan Tierney.
Got a short stick on Tierney here. Got to be a red alert. Quick slide situation for Michigan.
Tierney passes, and he saw a man on the slide, but Sheridan's got to pick it up. 10 seconds left. It's kind of forced in. And we got a crease violation on Hofstra. Sheridan probably had a little bit more time than he thought to create something, but the freshman trying to pass it in front, drawing the crease violation.
Yeah, I think a little bit more time. That was a little bit of a force, but I think that was a great stand by the Michigan defense. I think they needed, something positive to go for him here, and it starts with now goes to clearing the ball and making sure your offense is getting another crack at it.
7 seconds to get it over midfield here for the Wolverines. Remember, you got to get it over midfield before the 60-second mark on the shot clock, and there's a turnover and gives it right back to Hofstra. Chance to go quickly and unsettled if they want, but McIntosh backs it out.
And again, it's always going to make a coach nervous when you're trying to clear towards the box side. It's just a lot of guys coming on the field, off the field, a lot of traffic. If you can, you want to get it to that far side, away from trouble.
Michael Altman, the long pole, did stay on there for a second. You saw him at the top of the box. He thought about it,
yeah,
and then
I like that.
Thought differently about the long pole shot from distance.
He saw Coach Seth Tierney's reaction in film.
And there's McIntosh, stop, and kept alive there in goal. It's a new goalie, by the way, for Michigan. It's John Kirikoff. Stepping in there, the 6'2" sophomore from Maryland out of IMG Academy. Stepping in here in the second half in goal for Michigan. Coach Kevin Conry mentioned leading into this week that while Trowbridge had taken the starting role, it was still very much a competition, and Kirikoff getting an opportunity here. Here's Buchanavich. Dodges down the alley, tough angle there, and he finds the side of the cage.
Yeah, you never know. Coaches, sometimes they want to give their team, their defense, a spark by making a goalie change, and you never really know how short their leash is. Only really the head coach knows that. But it's also early in the season, and you want to keep everybody involved and give everyone a chance.
I mean, if anything, a different look for Ryan Tierney, who has found a way to beat just about everybody.
He's seeing nothing but net when he's looking, so we've got to throw someone else in there. See Hofstra continuing to attack from those high wings. They like bringing the short stick up there to try to get a pick, two-man game, try to create favorable matchups for Tierney. As we see here, Michigan able to get a pull back on him.
And that pass with nobody home. That's the sweeping play that Tierney likes. Michigan doing a good job bringing that pole across to help out.
Yeah, absolutely, and it's been done to them a couple times already, so I'm sure coaches were in their ears making sure that he's not getting his hands free when we do sweep across the top, and as we said earlier, make the other 5 guys beat you.
Like, hey guys, we're not going to let this happen again.
Right.
Bryce Clay settling things down.
And I think, too, we have to sort of separate. There are times when, Tierney, he's gotten underneath and, shot that right-handed shot with no angle. Those are shots that you're okay giving up, right? It's just his strength of sweeping over the top with his left that you want to take away and avoid.
That's a tough pass intercepted by Casey. And Dominic Pryor brings it across the midfield stripe. Easy clear for Hofstra. Pryor wanting to go in transition, feeds Altman. Long pole shot is wide, and a backup there for Michigan. Andrew Darby with good hustle.
Yeah, heads up play by Darby there. You've seen Hofstra do that a couple times to Michigan on the other end, so Michigan gets one back here. Looking to clear it and hopefully get their guys another offensive possession. They need a good one. That's not what they're looking for.
That was a poor pass from Schaffner. And you can hear the Hofstra sideline saying, all right, let's get a possession here. Settle things down. And it's exactly what Justin Sykes, the freshman, is going to do.
Yep. I found it interesting at halftime. You're saying that Hofstra was perfect in their clears, and Michigan had, I think, 2 blunders. Now a couple more this half. Those start to add up a little bit, and you start to see possessions being given away. Starting to see how this game's going to shape up, right? Neither team really pulling away. All those little things matter that much more. The little plays become the big plays.
Tierney feeds to Stopak at X. Stopak, tough angle, but a backup there on the shot.
But you're right, though. Stopak's been a nice little spark here for this Hofstra offense, getting underneath guys and getting off high-quality shots.
Dylan McIntosh to trigger things in from the corner.
You can see Hofstra initiating from behind, got a roll-off guy at the top of the crease with some cutters up top.
McIntosh's shot was knocked down on the backside, and Kirikoff able to collect in his crease.
Yep, nice defense there by Michigan.
Now the clear, which has been a bit of an issue at times for the Wolverines.
I would say a little bit more interesting than Coach Conry would prefer, I believe.
Almost a 10-minute drought here for Michigan in scoring. They've yet to score in the third quarter. It's been 1-0 Pride in this frame.
Love to see Buchanavich with a strong dodge out of the box here. Just get this defense moving, get this offense rolling.
Here's the birthday boy, Bonomi, Feeds, tough catch,
There you go.
and a good finish. Bryce Clay with a hat trick.
That's exactly the spark plug definition or description that coach used for Bonomi coming out of the box there. Did a great job of just playing fast. That causes the defense to move. Clay's got a real knack for finding that soft spot in the defense, understanding that all he needs is his hands free for just a little bit. Does a great job following his slide. Tough handle there too. Had a stick right on top of him, showing you his hands and the quality of finisher that he is. Nice play by both those guys.
Bonomi with his second assist of the afternoon, and we are all knotted up at 7 apiece. Clay with back-to-back hat tricks, with a hat trick also against Cleveland State last week.
Yeah, Michigan, they really do have a lot of guys that are able to find the ball and just be in the right spots on the field. That's going to get them a lot of points this season.
Michigan went early at the X, so Hofstra possession.
See Michigan, as I kind of called this ball back across the top, and do a similar thing that we saw from Michigan. We'll see Hofstra do now is try to initiate here, far away from the net, get that defense moving early.
Sterling Ardrey.
Right into a two-man game here with Tierney.
Looking for any type of space. Tierney trying to get back to that left hand. He can't.
Darby did a great job playing that well.
Tierney feeds. Down the alley, a score! Second goal of the second half from Ryan Sheridan. Hofstra back on top.
Now, that was really nice cut and finish there from Sheridan, but the play is made here from Tierney. Again, it's not, the prettiest offensive set with 6 guys in unison, but when you have a guy that's able to handle the ball and carry and deal with that much pressure, everything opens up for everybody else, those seams, those cutting spaces, and that's what we're able to just see there. Nice job by Sheridan on the finish. Really tough work from Tierney, keeping an eye on that ball and getting it to him.
You just look at the attention that
Right.
Ryan Tierney draws, and you know that other people are going to be open, and Tierney able to spot a guy there.
Yep. And again, that's why you go back to the beginning of the game, why we say it's such a good thing for Hofstra to have it start with Tierney coming out and shooting so well, obviously for him to score, but it gets the defense so locked in on one guy, opens up everything for everybody else.
4 goals on the season for the freshman Ryan Sheridan. Herber wins it back to himself, and a face-off win for the Pride, but
Still some work
tough
to do.
clear here, yeah. Nice moves from Keegan Santos.
Yeah, you can hear the Hofstra sideline getting into it a little bit now. They're starting to feel good as we get in 2 minutes in the third.
Long pull opportunity. Hofstra
Love that.
back-to-back goals. It's Michael Altman's 3rd of the year.
And who threw that ball? Ryan Tierney just making plays all over. But again, that's, going back to Coach Seth Tierney talking about playing high IQ lacrosse, right? Understanding the time and place, when you want to push, when you want to give the long pull a chance. Great play there by Altman in sort of faking his defender out like he was going to leave the field and then just cutting. And that's his senior teammate, Tierney, just trusting. Really nice play, momentum, big time goal.
Altman's first goal of the game, 3rd of the season. You give Tierney another assist, so he's now up to 6 points with 4 goals and a couple of helpers. And Hofstra has now taken a 2-goal lead. Remember, Michigan led by 3 in that second quarter, and since then it has been all Pride. A 6-1 run by Hofstra.
Important face-off win there here from Michigan.
Oh. Nick Rowlett laying the lumber. Is that a ward?
Did we get a warding call there?
Wow. And so a costly turnover to give it back to Hofstra. Now under 2 minutes to go in the 3rd quarter and a 2-goal lead.
That is tough. I think both those guys were just playing tough and wanted a little bit of physicality there. I don't know if I saw any arm extension, but either way, we got Hofstra with another chance here. If you're Michigan's defense, you really can't let them get up by 3 here. Really important possession.
Sterling Ardrey feeding, and Stopak couldn't handle it. Actually went through 2 Hofstra sticks, and so Michigan getting a much-needed stop.
That's probably one from Coach Tierney. He's going to say, let's continue that possession, move the ball, make singles. Doesn't have to be a home run pass every single time. Let's take advantage of the advantage that we just gained ourselves being up here by 2.
And a turnover in the clear by Michigan.
Travis, I can tell you what Michigan's practice on Monday is going to be heavily consisting of, and that is clearing the ball.
And now 5 failed clears for the Wolverines and a timeout here with under a minute to go in this third quarter. Good time to remind you that FTF, for the fans, your home for college rugby, coming up next Saturday, February 22nd. Our coverage of the College Rugby Association Game of the Week continues with a matchup between Texas and Texas A&M. Make sure to catch all the action beginning at 5 p.m. Eastern, 3 p.m. Mountain Time on 11 Sports and the FTF Next app. To Michigan, really kind of having to regroup here. They came into the half, you're knotted up at 6 apiece, and they went scoreless for about 10 minutes to start, and Hofstra has really taken advantage.
Absolutely, they have. You can see here Coach Connery on the sideline, full team huddle. You know, a lot of times you'll see the offense and defense split up, but he wants to talk and address the entire group here. And you know, making sure that they can reset, regroup, everyone being on the same page, and realize that this is a game where they can't make mistakes that are hurting themselves. Obviously, fail clears being one of them, but I think offensively, you're more concerned with just sort of the stagnant sort of vibe that you're getting from the players. Not a lot of movement, not a lot of energy going. So it's time to check back as a group here, try to gain as much energy, and just be playing smart. Finish out the game, making high IQ plays, not doing anything to hurt yourself.
By the way, also a good time to remind you that after the end of this game, stay tuned, because coming up, we will send you to Fairfield, Connecticut for game number 2 of our CAA Game of the Week doubleheader as Fairfield takes on Stony Brook. Tom Eschen, Steve Panarelli will be with you for that one. Back-to-back CAA Games of the Week to kick things off on our first Saturday of the 2020 college lacrosse season here at LSN. Good chance to see a couple of first-year head coaches. Andrew Baxter coaching his first game with the Stags. 1 p.m. Eastern Time face-off in Connecticut. But here we still got 15 minutes and change between Hofstra and Michigan. A really good game so far. The Pride with possession, a minute to go. So shot clock will not play a factor in this final frame. Hofstra can hold for 1 if they would like.
Yeah, you said it, Trav. What a matchup we've been treated to on our first game of the season. It's been really, really well played by both sides. Critical moment here, coming out of a timeout, to see what Hofstra, how they execute and what they're trying to do to close out this quarter.
And here is Tierney. There's a flag down, and so we will get a man-up opportunity for the Pride here with 36 seconds left in the third.
So I think we can make it clear, this referee unit, they do not appreciate any of the slaps and the random slashes. Those are going to be called all day, apparently. Right here, I think, is where we get it.
Yep. There it is.
Saw a similar one down on the other end, so they're not having it today.
Short sticks, take note. That goes against Peter Holland, the short stick defensive midfielder for Michigan. Oh for 2 on the man up today for Hofstra after they were perfect last week.
Yeah, really, I mean, huge opportunity here for Hofstra to go up by 3 as a man-up unit. You know, when you're going through these situations during the week of practice, when, you know, those 6 guys on the man-up are brought in, you talk about, hey, we're the group that needs to get it done. In important moments, we got to be relied on for a goal. I think that's a pretty exact situation here for this Hofstra offense.
We've seen Tierney from the top looking to feed down on the crease for the first couple of man-up opportunities. Let's see if they try to orchestrate a similar look here. Feed now from the behind. Kirikov with a big stop.
They got what they wanted. That's the look.
Instead of feeding from up top, they fed from behind, but similar result. Michigan able to get a big stop and try to kill off the rest of this quarter.
That's about as big as a stop as it gets.
Maybe a little bit of momentum for Michigan, able to get a stop on the man up to end the third quarter, but it was all Pride. You're just joining us, a couple of 1-0 teams meeting here on Long Island. Both put up big numbers offensively last week. So that ball is stripped away
Michigan continuing to have trouble clearing the ball. It's going to be tough for them to make this comeback when that's going on.
So Hofstra able to steal the possession away.
So you got Buckinavage caught on defense here playing at X.
5 seconds left on the penalty, and it's now released. So we're even strength to start this fourth quarter. And Hofstra up by 2. First possession on the doorstep. Great recognition from Tierney. He feeds Stopak. A second goal of the day for Stopak. A third assist of the afternoon for Tierney.
Yeah, really nice recognition there. I'm not quite sure what Michigan's defense is doing. They're sort of standing, looking around, and it's just a simple swing from the backside. Defenders, again, you have an offensive player sort of caught in on defense there, maybe not used to being in that situation. And again, that stemmed from the failed clear that we just saw, and eventually is why now Hofstra's up 3 goals. Nice feed there from Tierney and finish from Stopak.
Yeah, you mentioned Alex Buckinavage. He's stuck there on defense as an offensive midfielder, and Stopak makes him pay.
Yeah, but again, that's just one of those little things, right? There's nothing really crazy done. It's just that Michigan got caught looking at the ball. You know, Buckinavage is not used to having his head on a swivel as much and, you know, taken advantage from by Hofstra.
Big face-off for Michigan. Dylan Gardner had a beat on the ground ball, but he can't pick it up. Out of bounds, and it gives it to Hofstra. Dylan Gardner, a guy who's shown some big upside as a freshman, just couldn't come up with that ground ball. Good pressure from Hofstra, and they get a possession out of it.
Yeah, you can see the mindsets from each team sort of forming here and now. Well, Hofstra's sort of putting their foot on the pedal here. They seem to be aggressive. They want to come out and take this fourth quarter, while Michigan's sort of sitting back a little bit, letting things happen, you know, not picking up first-time ground balls. And that's a big difference here, and it's ultimately going to decide the game. And that's really, we talk about where high-pressure minutes, right? Games aren't won in the first, second, third. Games are won in the fourth quarter. And it's sort of that mentality that you form as a group that's going to be successful for you down the road.
Riley Forte dodges the alley. Now to Stopak. Sheridan, those 2 goals in the third quarter. Good pickup from McIntosh. His stick deflected. I don't know if they're going to call that a shot or a pass. Either way, it's Michigan ball.
Yep, Michigan needed that. Nice effort there by Schreiber, the freshman, diving out for that ball.
Ryan Schreiber, a member of the U.S. Under-19 team that'll be heading to Ireland this summer to compete in the World Championships.
Yeah, Michigan got to clear it.
5 seconds to get it over, and good pressure from Hofstra causes the turnover again. And guess who was in on that? Ryan Tierney.
Ryan Tierney has the ball on his stick. I'm telling you, it just finds his stick. Certainly is today.
Stopak feeds Sheridan. Midfielder wants it. One-handed finish. Oh, Hofstra's feeling it.
I think Sheridan's heard us talking about all the Michigan young players and young freshmen. He said, hey, wait a second. We got a pretty good freshman over on this side as well, and he's right about that. Again, that's a perfect sort of example of that mindset we were just talking about. Sheridan coming in, he wants these goals. He's making these plays. Nothing was going to stop him from turning the corner here. One-handed, I believe. Pretty impressive from the freshman.
The Canadian showcasing the skills he learned up there on the west coast of Canada. British Columbia.
That's right. No one said they weren't flashy up there, that's for sure.
Didn't stick the landing on the celebration yet, so he's going to get some blowback on that in the film session on Monday, but if they're able to hold on, he'll feel just fine. A hat trick,
right?
The first career hat trick for Ryan Sheridan in his second collegiate game.
You got to keep him feeling like a freshman somehow, so.
And it is now the largest lead of the game for the Pride. A 4-goal advantage, up 11-7 here with under 13 minutes to go. Face-off win here for Michigan, but all sorts of traffic. Great pressure from the Pride again, and another possession for Hofstra. Unsettled situation, long pull shot is wide. That was Dan DeSanti.
Yeah, if you're Michigan right now, you feel like you're playing in quicksand a little bit with the wheels coming off. Just all of these are mental errors being made, guys not picking up. You know, you're fighting as hard as you can for the ground ball. Ball bounces the other way. Now Hofstra here offensively, they're going to have no problem sort of taking their time and try to be patient here on offense, generating a really high quality look, try to make this difference even more.
Nice little juke move there from Cooper Trepida. Pass in the middle, and it's knocked away by the Wolverines.
Transition opportunity here for Michigan, see if they can take advantage, have some trailers coming.
Pass just a little low. Scooped up there by Michael Cosgrove.
You know, and that's sort of really been the story here in the second half for Michigan. It's just little bit off, right? You'd have a guy trailing, probably gonna have a 2-on-1 situation with your lefty attackman, start thinking about it a little too early and just don't execute on the pass.
Josh Zawada settling things down for Michigan. And still plenty of time for the Wolverines to get back in this thing, but they can't have too many loose possessions. Alex Buckinavich, now Bonomi.
You know, an advantage if you're Hofstra here too is that you now really have to make these Michigan guys earn your slides, right? Unless they're beat, you don't have to go. You can stay on your man. As we see a flag come down here.
I think we may get another one of those little slashing calls that we've seen a couple of times today.
They are not having it today.
Oh, no, there's a hit up high. I believe it was on Dylan McDermott, the short stick midfielder.
Yeah, and I think, you know, Zawada, obviously he gets rewarded for driving hard there to the middle of the field. Maybe got bailed out a little bit on the call, but you see that's sort of what Michigan has now, is sort of put the head down and try to beat a couple of guys that really need to execute and get a goal here on their man up.
So 1 minute extra man opportunity for the Wolverines. 0 for 3 on the day on the extra man. Once again, Zawada operating from the top of the box.
A little exchange on the ball side, roll off of the crease, try to create this shooter 2-on-1 for Zawada.
Beat down low, shot never got through. Nice play defensively there by Hofstra, Tim Haggerty.
Gonna have numbers coming this way. We'll see what Hofstra decides to do.
Altman moves it along, and now it's just try to play keep away. Still probably about 30 seconds on this man up. Offsides on Hofstra, so still some time for Michigan if they can get their offensive personnel on quickly. Ten seconds left on the man up. You got another flag down, so another opportunity for Michigan.
Could be a big swing here.
Put
a goal in and get another man up.
But a free possession for the Wolverines. You're going to get another one.
So obviously we're even right now, at least until the ball's going to be dead. So Michigan trying to get themselves organized into one of the sets that they're familiar with, going right into a two-man game from X.
Kevin Mack from X. Short stick matchup here for Zawada. Pretty move, gets free, stopped again by Casey. Casey hasn't had a lot of saves, but really impressive saves. That one keeps it out, but it'll trigger our flag, and Michigan will go man up again.
Yeah, that's really demoralizing if you're Michigan. You fight so hard to get such a high quality opportunity, and then you're not able to capitalize. But, you know, going back to sort of that mindset comment that I was talking about before, you sort of see it in Michigan's offense. There's just not a lot of urgency right now, and you can sort of see the tide going and sort of energy slipping out of them in ways when really there's a huge opportunity here to score and get back in this game.
An offsides call triggers the penalty, so 30-second man up now for Michigan, who's 0 for 4 on the extra man. Good look. Couldn't get it past Casey.
Number 3, Bryce Clay, the save by Bobby Casey.
Bobby Casey, back-to-back gigantic stops. He's now up to 7 saves on the day.
Bobby Casey, 2 huge saves in that possession. I love the play design. I have Michigan basically making the defender pick if they want to guard the shooter or the guy who slips. The ball hits the guy who slips. Casey is there for the task, though, meets the challenge. Really making it tough for Michigan to mount any sort of comeback when that happens.
And that gets us back to even strength. So Hofstra ticking toward the midway point of this fourth quarter with a 4-goal lead. Pride looking to get to 2-0 on the season after that 10-goal win over Wagner in the opener. Pride team, a good opportunity here with a trio of home games to start the season. They got Villanova coming here to Long Island next week, another game you could see here on LSN. This Ardrey. Forte. Tierney, skip past to McIntosh.
Everything's going for him right now.
Gorgeous feed. 8 points for Ryan Tierney. That ties a career high.
We talk about he had a bit of a heat check shot in the first half. That's a heat check assist right there. Just on your back feet, you see a cutter and you just throw that thing up there. That's an unbelievable execution. And again, things are clicking for the Hofstra Pride right now in every way.
The NBA dunk contest is tonight. Maybe Tierney and McIntosh should enter because that's an alley-oop.
That's right. I mean, he must have heard the skills competition is before or something like that. He's out here absolutely dropping dimes. He reserved the first half for his goals, I guess, and the second half for all of his assists. That was something special.
4 goals and 4 assists for Ryan Tierney. Just wanting to make sure everybody across the country knows he can do both.
That's about as solid of a stat line as you get right there. 4 and 4.
It's a face-off win for Lacrosse. Quickly for Michigan. Ooh. That one hit the post.
And I'll tell you though, even sort of going back to Tierney, he's had a couple looks that weren't finished that really could have been really nice assists. The demonstrating his feeding ability has been, I think, the takeaway for me today.
And the vision there to know, and that we mentioned in the first half when McIntosh went out with the injury last year.
Yep.
The connection that he and Tierney have developed is a special one. He just knew where McIntosh was cutting, where he likes that ball to be able to quick stick finish it on the backside.
It's almost like a quarterback throwing a ball where only his player could catch it. You elevate a little bit just for that dunking, and you're right. I think that key wing-to-wing skip from that lefty wing and righty wing is something they were really missing last year and are really happy to have back this year.
Josh Zawada working at X. Michigan needs an answer desperately with under 7 minutes to go. Just 1 goal in the second half for the Wolverines. And that draws a flag, so another man up coming. Schneider feeds. Getting through some traffic is Bryce Clay. And loose ball is picked up by Hofstra, and we get another flag.
Yeah, this is one of those situations, especially you got to know playing Hofstra, you might have a little back and forth going, but I think, Michigan offensively, you could just see they're sort of relying on Zawada to give him the ball and make something happen or sort of hope that something happens. They've really gotten away from that initiation from those top middies and trying to put those guys in 2-man games and spread out the defense. Again, sort of getting bailed out here with some penalties, but haven't been able to execute or capitalize when they have gotten these man-up advantages, hoping that changes now.
So the first penalty is against Dylan McDermott, the short stick defensive midfielder for Hofstra. The second one also against the Pride, that one against Keegan Santos.
30 seconds each for pushes.
So we're 2 men down for Hofstra for 30 seconds. So Michigan, this is the opportunity you needed.
Got to score here.
Got to be able to capitalize here. 0 for 5 in the man up, the Wolverines.
It's important too, right? You're 6 on 4, not to overcomplicate things, right? You're gonna have space. Ball moves faster than your feet, so try to get those D guys moving, and then someone's got to settle in, step in.
15 seconds left on the man up.
And getting it past Bobby Casey right now is easier said than done.
Buckinavage to Zawada, step down and just errant.
Oh, wow.
And a backup by Casey.
Right. Again, back to that mentality. Hofstra's out here. Again, they're putting their foot on the gas and not stopping one bit.
Loose ball, dangerous loose ball picked up by Hofstra. And they will get back to even strength here as they clear. Ball goes out of bounds, though, so Michigan at least gets a possession back, but the offer on the 2 men up.
Yep. That's both, that hurts you on the scoreboard and it hurts your overall just psyche, right?
It's been a 6-1 second half for the Pride so far. Bonomi on the run! High heat from the birthday boy. His first goal of the afternoon.
There you go, right? Michigan desperately needed some energy. They needed a spark plug, and Bonomi, that was it. Nice little dodge out there. Happy birthday is right. Getting to the middle of the field and just releases some high-to-high heat. But that's, again, I continue to go back to this mentality. Being aggressive, get to spots that you want to get to, right? You have to be physical and sort of dictate where you're going to be and get your shots from to the defense. You can't allow that to be dictated to you. Bonomi sort of doing a great job there. Again, getting to the middle of the field and making a play, which Michigan desperately needed. Sometimes someone's just got to go out there and be a man and make a play, and that's what Bonomi did.
The Long Island native, one of 7 players from Long Island on this Michigan squad, having a chance to come back home to play today and making the most of it. He's got 3 points, a goal and a couple of assists, but a face-off violation on Michigan gives it back to Hofstra as we go toward 5 minutes left.
Yeah, that hurts you there if you're Michigan. Really want that face-off to try to get consecutive offensive possessions. Doesn't end up happening, so got to rely on this D here to really bunker down in the fourth, and at least give the offense a chance to have a couple more possessions and make this thing closer.
I have to think later in the shot clock, the ball is going to end up in the stick of number 13 for Hofstra.
I have to think that you're right.
Tierney.
You have to think that you're right. Doesn't want to stay at 8. Why not go for 9?
Here is Tierney. Oh, he went with the little sidearm feed.
He did.
McIntosh just couldn't handle it.
I'll tell you, Trav, though, I'm confused on why the Michigan defense is even trying to switch that or coming off of Tierney at all, giving him that space to then get that pass off, right? I would imagine these defenders are saying, no, stay on him and get through these picks.
And he has been the...
Unless we want some more production.
I mean,
right?
he's been the key guy for Hofstra. Just about everything, with the exception of maybe a Stopak goal where he worked for Max. Just about everything has come off the stick of Ryan Tierney.
Yeah, it really has. And as we mentioned, it hasn't been sort of these drawn-up plays and perfect offensive set. It's been a lot of him making individual plays, really demanding so much attention, being strong with the ball, and then just finding an open teammate.
Here's Buckinavich out of the box. And he finds some space.
Again, I think that is Michigan's strength that we were talking about, initiating from those midfielders up top, out of the box, where they have a lot of space to get downhill and get their hands free. And Buckinavich is a really good athlete. He dodges with his eyes up, and he's able to finish when he needs to.
Buckinavich's second goal of the game, just a little shimmy shake to get free. He'd been quiet since scoring in the first quarter.
Yeah, really started the game out fast. Had a couple nice looks, had some assists as well. And like I said, I've sort of been going away from him, trying to do a little slower 2-man game from behind, initiating with Sawada. And why not let this guy fly out of the box with Buckinavich, Bonomi, and really create those mismatches up top.
Michigan answers back with back-to-back goals. Now a 3-goal game with under 4 minutes to go.
Love to see a Michigan face-off win here to make this nice and interesting.
Nick Rowlett back at the face-off X. We've seen Lacrosse in there as well for the Wolverines as Coach Connery continues to rotate between those guys, but a face-off win for the Pride. Pryor able to scoop up the ground ball and gets a possession for Hofstra. Talk about face-off numbers, and we mentioned what Coach Tierney told us this week about not counting a face-off win unless you get an offensive possession out of it. There are also face-offs that just matter more, and the ones here, last 5 minutes of a game, they just weigh a little bit more in the stats.
Yeah, there's no doubt about it. Plus, you're getting that possession for your team, but you're able to control the game. And I think even more so on top of that, it's when your wings become that much more important, right? Because you're able to make it a 50-50 ground ball. Those guys coming in to help you are ultimately going to get you possession or not.
Ryan Sheridan's got a couple of goals today. He dishes off for Ardrey, and now Ryan Tierney. He's got a short stick matchup. Tierney, side of the cage. It was like he just kind of lulled them to sleep. He was out by midfield. They get the ball to him, and he gets a short stick matchup and nearly makes Michigan pay again.
That's right. He probably wants that shot back. But I thought Hofstra did a great job there of not sort of just trying to run the clock out, actually playing offense, putting pressure on Michigan. As you had some transition opportunity here. Oh, my goodness.
And just an errant pass from Buckinavage.
Sort of been the way things have gone for Michigan, unfortunately, today. Just, you know, wide open transition streaker. You have numbers, and it gets overthrown.
Nice one-man clear for Hofstra. And a chance to burn some more time on this clock. Remember, coming up tonight, 9 p.m. Eastern here on Lax Sports Network. Lacrosse Now closes every night of the week, but most importantly on Saturdays. Get caught up on all the highlights from today's big action around the country, including a bunch of top 20 matchups. Lacrosse Now on Lax Sports Network every night, 9 p.m. Eastern, LSN and the FTF Next app.
A little bit more of the same here from Hofstra on offense. Not just sort of killing time, but actually putting pressure on Michigan, dodging hard to the cage.
Ardrey getting a shot off. It's wide, but Stopak there for the backup. Still 37 seconds left on the shot clock. Hofstra can take it down toward a minute to go, and now Michigan's going to come out and double. Goalie's out of the cage.
Ball's down.
Turnover cause. Michigan able to pick up the ground ball. It's
Might have
Darby.
some transition opportunity here with numbers.
Gotta make this count. Cosgrove. Down low, stopped.
Wow.
Mack robbed by Casey. And now the shot clock take it down to about 13 seconds if you're Hofstra, so Michigan really has to double.
I know that the story is going to be a lot about Ryan Tierney, but in this second half, Bobby Casey has been outstanding. And really, if there was any chance of Michigan mounting a run and coming back, he's put an end to it right away.
The stats won't jump off the page with
Right.
Bobby Casey. It's only 8 saves on the day, but the quality of saves in terms of the opportunities Michigan had and the time in which they occurred, really the key.
Absolutely, well said.
And a flag down there as Michigan was trying to cause a turnover. 38 seconds to go in this fourth quarter. Hofstra looks like they're going to walk away with a big win, getting to 2-0 on the season.
Yeah, I think if you're Hofstra, you got to be excited from what you saw from your guys, especially offensively when you're looking, obviously, you know, we talk a ton about Ryan Tierney and what he was able to do today and what we'll continue to be able to do, but getting McIntosh back is obviously such a big thing for both the Tierney and the entire offense, and then you see a guy like Stopak have a big game today, and he's somebody that, you know, we're going to be seeing a lot more continue to develop his role throughout the season.
Hofstra calls a timeout. Talk things over as they have a chance to kill the rest of this clock with 40 seconds to go. Let's take a look. We were just mentioning Bobby Casey, what he's done and some of the quality saves he's made in this second half, because Michigan, if they were able to cash in on a couple of these opportunities, this is a different game.
Absolutely. So much of this has been about momentum and getting consistent back-to-back possessions. And when you're making saves like this, when guys think they have a goal in hand and you're just absolutely robbing them, it's demoralizing for the offense. It really frustrates you as a player.
Another look at, he was able to stop Buckinavage. This one in the
How
middle.
many of these? Yeah.
Just whatever it took to keep things out. Bobby Casey able to help keep it out. And Coach Seth Tierney told us, hey, there's a little bit of still a competition at that goalie spot, depending on what happens. Bobby Casey playing his way into maintaining the starting role he kept for most of last year.
And yeah, there's no way to look at it other than that he helped himself tremendously today, I think, with these saves that you're making. And another thing I think we have to keep in mind, right? We talk about how much trouble Michigan had clearing the ball. Your clearing game is directly comes back to your goalie and how they're able to orchestrate that and demand things from players. And they were pretty perfect on the clears, right?
17-17.
Right, there you go.
Hofstra.
So I think, you know, that's a big credit to Bobby Casey. On top of the awesome and timely saves that he's made, he's really patrolled and directed the clearing game.
You look directly at the clearing game. 7 failed clears for Michigan. Perfect for Hofstra. That makes a gigantic difference in a game.
It tells you an absolute ton about the game as Hofstra's going to let the clock come out here. But that's why we talk about, right? And Hofstra as a team and a program really stemming from last year, having dealt with a lot of one goal losses, was really, really a difference in their season. They're going to make sure that doesn't happen this year.
Couple of men down for Michigan, as Hofstra is going to get to 2-0 for the 4th time in the last 5 years. Another hot start for the Pride.
Fittingly in Tierney's stick here to end it.
What a performance from Ryan Tierney. 4 goals, 4 assists, 8 points. Guy was named to the Tewaaraton watch list earlier this week, putting a seal on a victory for the Pride. Hofstra, victors 12-9 over Michigan. They are now 2-0. Davey, final thought on the performance we saw from Ryan Tierney in this Pride squad.
Yeah, I thought overall, really, really well-played game. I thought it was a treat for us to have this in such an early matchup in this young college lacrosse season. But you're right, I thought Michigan showed a lot of really good signs. They're going to have a very good year. Some of these young guys get more and more experience. But then just a ton of credit goes to Hofstra and Ryan Tierney specifically. You know, we sort of already knew about him coming into today and into this game, but he sort of elevated himself in my mind, especially as a feeder, which he displayed with the ability to do so well today.
Impressive stuff from Hofstra, a team we will see right back here on LSN on Long Island next Saturday against Villanova. But once again, your final score, Hofstra 12, Michigan 9. Thank you for watching our CAA Game of the Week here on Lax Sports Network. For Davey Emila, our producer Dylan Hand, our entire crew, I'm Travis Eldridge. Stay tuned for Game 2 of our CAA Game of the Week doubleheader, Stony Brook and Fairfield. But for right now, we send you back into the studio.